Hello everyone and welcome back to more Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. We are back for chapter 3 in Waltz's route. I believe the last episode was called, this chapter is called Skeletons in the Closet, because in the last episode we had a cute little date, little fluffy moment with Waltz where we were told to take the day off by him. And we did. We'd heed his advice, and it turned into a little cute little date. We went to go visit our father's tomb, our father's grave, and then subsequently Waltz went. And we also went to go visit our mother's and Parfait's grave, which is in the forest. And then subsequently, it transitioned to Waltz finally deciding to show us where his old home used to be, before it got burned down by Hildyr, and where his parents died, and the graves that were there too. And he basically told us his what he's been carrying this entire time, like his guilt of being the cause of his parents' death, which isn't right, because he was only a child back then and he got taken advantage of because all he wanted to do was learn magic. But his parents, even though they were magic, they were witches, but they didn't want to teach him because it's too dangerous. Times are the war times and discriminations and stuff. So he went out to the tournaments, these illegal tournaments, I guess. And then he got noticed by Hildyr because he was so good at it. And then Hildyr tried to recruit him through his parents. Parents obviously refused, and then of course she murdered them, burned down the house with them in it, and then she sort of made up that lie where it's the humans are the ones who did it, and basically took in Waltz that way, and sort of manipulated him to doing her bidding. And then until the king, and it wasn't until Waltz went to the king and the king told him what actually happened, that he was cursed by Hildyr and betrayed Hildyr afterwards. So yeah, that's his guilty conscience. That's his his trauma, and we're just comforting him. We're just letting him know that it's not his fault, and that we're always gonna be by his side, kind of thing. So yeah, there's that fluffy little moment there. And so in this chapter, I'm not entirely sure what more. I guess maybe are skeletons, maybe, I don't know, but let's find out. So we're here with Delore. We're at the Marchen. So he's late as always. Who's late? Delore paces the room, arms crossed. He always talks about practicing his magic, but what he really needs to practice is getting places on time. Oh, Walton and I exchange a look. The two of us are sitting on the settee, holding hands. Okay. There's a tinge of exasperation in Waltz's smile. Typical Cinna. Cinna? Who is Cinna? Today I had come to the Marchen to discuss the tenuous relationship between humans and witches with Cinna, the newly dubbed Lucis Bearer. All of us were surprised when Cinna suddenly showed up at the Marchen a little less than 2 years ago, proclaiming to be Parfait's relative and the next bearer of the Lucis. It turns out Parfait had prepared him long before she passed, though she made it clear she never wanted him to take over at so young an age. Many fairies have voiced their concern that he is too young and inexperienced to be the bearer. I myself have not spoken too often with Cinna, but based on our meetings, I believe him to be more than capable. Still, even if he is the Lucis bearer, he is still young and has much to learn about priorities. Where is he now? Dolores snorts. He left this morning to go hunt for some special beetle. A beetle? Waltz laughs. Another one? He was telling me the other day he caught some rare horned beetle. I hope you didn't praise him so much you inspired him to add to his collection. Waltz grins. It wasn't my praise that inspired him. Cinna's just dedicated to his hobby. Out of all the hobbies to have, right? Collecting beetles. Collections are especially fun when you're growing up. I have always enjoyed collecting dolls, right? Dolls make for a much better collection than a very alive insects. Oh, that is true. Oh, there he is! Our boy! How dare you insult my insects? Cinna walks in, lips downturned in his usual frown. You have awfully good hearing. Too bad your time management leaves much to be desired. Cinna's scowl intensifies. Is that how you talk to the Lucis bearer? Now, don't be such a brat. Delora flashes a smile so intimidating even Cinna falters. It is when the Luce's bearer is a recalcitrant child. Cinna walks quietly over to one of the chairs Delora set up and sits. He clears his throat. Sorry. The word is a low mumble, barely audible. Try not to keep the queen waiting for so long next time. Fine. He's such a brat. Besides me, Waltz looks like he is trying very hard not to laugh. He told me once that Delora makes a good stand-in mother for Cinna. I cannot help but agree. I am glad for their banter. With just the two of them living in the margin now, this place has become extremely quiet. Though Waltz comes here weekly to teach his students, the tavern is usually empty on account of it no longer being open to the public. Oh. It makes me sad sometimes, but then I think of how happy everyone is now, being able to live without being cursed. The margin may be different, but I am glad it is still here. It feels like a sanctuary even now. Cinna sighs. Since you're also eager to start, we should get to it. Cinna looks at Waltz expectantly. You're the one compiling all the reports on the witch crimes, right? Can you provide a summary? Of course. Waltz provides a brief summary of the reports we've received over the last few months. So far, there have been no major incidents involving corrupted witches, but there have still been crimes cropping up here and there. We've just recently added witches to our patrols. And has that led to any impactful changes? We've been more prepared to handle magic with magic, but being more prepared hasn't done anything to make the dent in the number of incidents. Cinna raises an eyebrow. Are there any human crimes against witches? The question takes me aback. Yes, but humans are tried in court just like any witch. These magic-induced crimes are higher up on our priority list because they result in more casualties. I frown. I would never give humans special treatment over witches. Besides, the victims of all these crimes aren't just humans. There are witch and fairy casualties too. Yeah, Cinna crosses his arms. And how is the tenebrarium? Overfull. Cinna crosses one leg over the other, his ankle resting on his knee. Have you spoken to any of the perpetrators of these crimes yourself? We have witches and knights who handle interrogations. Sometimes Waltz and I step in. Cinna scowls. And what about you, Queen Hannah? You're the tenebrarium bearer. Oh, you have a responsibility to reach out to those witches. Cinnamon! His name is Cinnamon! I mean, his mom's name is, or his aunt? Wait, is Parfait his mom or his aunt? I don't know, but anyways, Parfait's name is Parfait, so don't call me that. Cinna's word cut me right to my core. It is not that I have ignored those witches, just that there is a procedure for dealing with them. It is the same for any criminal. As a queen, I do not come into direct contact with any criminals unless they are being tried in court. It is not my job to interrogate them after all, but I believe Cinna has a point. The palace procedures make it impossible for me to fully conduct my responsibilities as a tenebrarium bearer, don't they? Cinna and Delora both stop talking and to look at me. As a queen, I am meant to be unbiased, but the procedures that keep me from taking sides are what keep me from speaking with the witches directly. It's true Hilda communicated more directly with the witches, but that closeness emboldened corrupted witches and intimidated those of us who didn't agree with her. Cinna shakes his head. That's a reflection on the bearer, not on the procedure. If you're a good bearer, Hannah, you'll speak to those witches directly to try to get to the root of the problem, if there is one. Where did you find the gall to speak like that, Cinnamon? Right? Stop calling me that. Waltz speaks up abruptly. Hannah shouldn't have to communicate with them directly. The Order of Caldera exists to deal with those criminals. Agree or argue? Oh, this is a harder choice. Oh man, uh-oh. See, this is the one where it's like, oh, I should take a little bit more proactive choices as queen in order to better these sort of situations. You never know. Clearly, maybe taking a backseat to this isn't really helping, and maybe the change is needed, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, Waltz is right. There are, you know, like, methods to, help with that. Say the Order of Caldera. Like, that's their job too. So, can we find a balance? Can we find a balance? Like, I feel like I don't want to argue, but like also like it doesn't hurt to try, Like maybe like yeah, maybe taking a backseat isn't really working out. We should try out this method. Okay, let's save, obviously. Let's save and then we can make our choice. I want to say argue with this one. I think Cinna has a point. He does have a point. But Hannah, I'm more than happy to interrogate the witches with Delora and deliver the reports myself. I know, I trust you. The comment for some reason makes me bristle. Waltz has been doing everything he can to help with the witches, but Cinna is right. My approach is clearly lacking. If I am to understand this problem, I must reach out to these witches directly. I must hear their testimonies firsthand before they are pressured into a confession and brought before me in the throne room. No, Cinna is right. It is my responsibility as a bearer to listen to the witches, even the corrupted ones. They are criminals, yes, but I must still hear them. Hannah, I know you're going to tell me I'm overworking myself, Waltz, but I am the Tenebrarian bearer. I cannot just shirk my responsibilities. I am baffled by Waltz's distress. Normally he does not wear his emotions so openly. Normally he is supportive of my decisions. Right? What's wrong? So why is he so adamant about this? I'm the Tenebrarian bearer, Waltz. I am in no danger. Besides, I'll have you by my side during the interrogations, yes? Of course. What's wrong? Cinna sighs. I can't always agree with you. You're welcome. We can just try this out one time. Cinnamon, your manners are truly atrocious. You called me here to have a serious discussion, so I came for a serious discussion. Faye may have danced around issues, but I will not. Oh my god. No, I suppose you have a very different way of doing things. Delora grumbles beneath her breath. What was that? Oh. I said you're still very much a child. Before Cinna can say anything, I interject. A wise child all the same. Thank you, Cinna. I appreciate your suggestion. It makes sense that Delora and Waltz would try to keep me from overworking myself. They know how much stress I am under, after all. Cinna has no such reservations. He is so blunt he would say anything on his mind, even if he did know my full situation. That is what makes him a good confidant, I suppose. Cinna leans back in his chair. I'm happy I could help. Now, can I get back to my hunt? The words make me smile despite myself. He may have wisdom beyond his years, but in the end he is still a child. Do not let us keep you here any longer. Delora raises an eyebrow. It would serve you right if you got stung by something. I'm going beetle hunting, not bee hunting. Besides, I would never catch bees. They're important for pollination, you know. The two of them continue bickering. It is a sound, strangely, that puts my heart at ease. Oh, I turn to Waltz, who looks troubled? What's wrong? Waltz, you really do not have to worry about me. Waltz? He startles. Sorry, I was just thinking. Oh, I'm not worried about how you'll handle the witches, Hannah. Then why are you so concerned, right? It's nothing. Well, yeah, it most certainly is not, right? I cannot put my finger on the why of it, but something has seemed amiss with Waltz recently. Waltz's eyes dart to Cinna and Delora. Let's talk later, okay? Okay, if you insist. Our conversation wrapped up, the two of us excuse ourselves from the tavern. Waltz, you better talk to me about this. Like, I don't understand. Like, can we just try this one thing out, and if it doesn't work, we can just go back to how we do things. Waltz's moodiness is concerning, so I decide to take a detour back to the palace and lead Waltz through the forest on the way back. I see we're taking the more scenic way back today. I would rather avoid the crowds right now. You seem tense in there. Will you talk to me now? I have some reservation about Cinna's approach. So I noticed. Why? If interrogating these criminals is too time-consuming a task for me or yields no result, then I will leave it to you and the other witches, right? Oh. I fail to see how this proposal is a problem. It's a problem because I know you. You take on way too much work, Hannah. Oh, nonsense. I'm still just trying to find a balance. Let me balance things for you, please. Oh, do you have so little faith in me, Waltz? No, you know that's not what I meant, Hannah. I appreciate everything you do for me, truly, but I am the Tenebrarian bearer. It is my responsibility to oversee issues involving the witches. I poke him gently in the shoulder. I will be relying on your help, though, right? I'm not doing this all by myself. The motion draws the vaguest of smiles from Waltz. Of course, yes! Yes! I knew it was right. Come on, my dude. I'm not doing this by myself. I just want to try this thing out, and if it doesn't work, we can drop it. He sighs. I'm still not convinced it's the best suggestion, but I'll go along with whatever you think is best. I feel he is overreacting to all this, but why? Why? Yes, why? I notice something is amiss the moment we step into town. Normally the plaza is filled with chatter and music at this time of day. Now it is eerily quiet. Uh-oh. What's happening? Is there a riot? Is there a protest? I don't like the look of this. Me neither. Walton and I venture more cautiously into the square. There are a few people here and there scuttling about, but someone calls my name before I can speak with any of them. Queen Hannah. Oh, it's Fritz. I turn to see Fritz rushing towards us, a woman on his heels. I recognize her as well. She is one of the witches who sends us reports. Fritz, what's happened? There's been an incident in the marketplace. Oh, really? Oh no. A witch set fire to more than a dozen stalls. What? The witch points. I follow her gaze to the smoky tendrils curling through the air a short distance away. The fire's just been put out, and the merchants and customers who inhaled dangerous amounts of the smoke have been taken to a clinic. And the witch who started the fires? He's already been taken in by the commander. Okay. I must speak with Jurian then. I'm going to do a scope of the area with my men to make sure there are no accomplices. Okay. I'll see if I can repair some of the damage done to the stalls. Thank you both for your hard work. My heart is pounding in my chest as I incline my head. We should get back to the palace. Yeah, right. A few of the wandering knights around the plaza accompany us back to the palace for extra protection. Oh, hello, guys. Jurian and Garland are waiting at the gates when I arrive. Your Majesty, there's been an incident, so I've heard. I've been briefed. I let Jurian repeat what Fritz said as we walked together through the halls. She tells me the witch we added to the patrol helped the knights capture their arsonist. And where is this arsonist now? In the dungeons. We've tried to interrogate him, but we have no luck so far. We have had no luck so far. Here it is, an opportunity for me to get to the root of this problem. Lead me to him. I'll go with you. Yes. The four of us make our way down to the underground dungeons. Okay, time to talk to this dude, this fellow who seems to be very angry. We make our way to the designated prison cell. As of yet, there are not many cells that can hold witches. Waltz and Delora personally enchanted some of them to suffocate any form of magic, but we have only been able to charm a few areas. Thankfully, the lack of cells is not a problem. Hopefully it stays that way. Jurian and Garland stop in front of one of the cells. Here we are, Your Majesty. Okay. I squint between the wall of bars into the darkness. I see a man huddled in the corner, his back to us. Waltz moves to stand in front of me, posture stiff. Hannah, let me handle this, Waltz. Let me try first, and then you can step in when it gets bad. I peer into the bars. Your queen stands before you. Will you not acknowledge me? You are not my queen. Oh no, not one of these guys. The man glances over his shoulder. The only queen I acknowledged was Queen Hildire. You're nothing but a usurper. Ah. You will show Queen Hannah respect, or... It is all right, Jurian. I mean, it's just to be expected. I turn back to the witch. We seem to have his full attention now. Will you tell me why you did what you did? What is it you hope to achieve? Okay. Will you not speak a word in your defense? The witch says nothing, just glares daggers at us. Okay, fine. If you don't say anything... The witch laughs suddenly, a hollow, cold sound. I was wondering when you'd speak up, Waltz Cresswell. You used to be so loud. When was it that you were tamed? Why? Waltz narrows his eyes. Spouting nonsense isn't going to get you anywhere. Give us answers, or you'll doom yourself to a life in this cell. The witch smirks. And what will you do to get those answers from me? Torture me with magic? Waltz inhales sharply. He says nothing as he glares back at the witch. For a few moments, the two just look at each other. And then the witch smiles. Dismiss your knights in Cresswell. Then and only then will I speak with you, false queen. Oh. Great. A shudder climbs my spine as the witch looks directly at me. He is a criminal, a witch, but I am the Tenebarium bearer. You are in no position to make such demands. No, it's all right, Jurian. Hana? Oh. I will be fine. Please wait for me by the entrance. I'm not going to leave you alone in here with a criminal. I am not asking, Waltz. Oh. He looks at me stunned, but I cannot show weakness in front of this criminal. I cannot dither. Oh, I'll make it up to him later. We'll wait for you, your majesty. But if we hear even the slightest disturbance, we'll be back. Yes, thank you both. Waltz. Waltz is the last one to leave. He looks at me uncertainly, almost pleadingly, but when I do not budge, he eventually turns on his heel and leaves. The witch turns to me after their footsteps have faded to silence. Are you sure you want to keep Cresswell around? He betrayed the previous bearer, you know, and all for the sake of a single girl. That single girl was me. The witch laughs. And that means nothing. Loyalty and love are not mutually exclusive. Get to the point. You said you would speak to me. He smiles at me coldly. So I did, but I would much rather speak of the past than the present. That was not our agreement. The witch speaks as if he hasn't heard me. How much do you know about the man who follows you like a shadow? About Waltz Cresswell? We are not here to speak about Waltz. But don't you want to know what he did for your don't you want to know what he did for your mother? Why we call him one of the most powerful witches of his time? He must take my silence for curiosity because he pushes on. The man who walks these halls with you is a murderer, one of the biggest criminals of them all, and you let him walk free. My heart hammers in my chest. How dare you spout such lies? It's no lie. Ask any witch and they'll tell you. Waltz Cresswell was Queen Hildire's right hand. He dealt with traitors by getting rid of them entirely. The witch you speak so highly of has more blood on his hands than anyone. Why have you not punished him? I know Waltz worked for Mother, but he never did tell me what it was that he did for her, and... Oh. I apologize. I didn't mean to compare you to a child. No, it isn't that, Hana. It's more the innocent part. I'm not innocent at all, you know. I respectfully disagree. Disagree. I agree to disagree. I would never change my opinion of you, Waltz. He always balks when I call him good or innocent. The witch snorts. Hero who ended the Great War? Hardly. Waltz Cresswell is a worse criminal than me. You have no right to judge him. This is none of your business. You have no right to judge him. I don't think so. I mean, you're on your own war path at the moment. So like, what's it to you? You have no right to judge him. I carefully tuck my concerns away. I will not show this witch how much his words have rattled me. Whether or not you speak the truth is irrelevant. You have no right to accuse another citizen of my kingdom of such crime. The witch seems disgruntled. Perhaps he was expecting more of an outburst from me. You're a hypocritical ruler then, judging some witches but not others. I am concerned with the crimes happening under my reign. If you will not tell me about the arson attack, we are done here. Tch. The witch turns away. This business is for Walton and I alone to discuss. How dare he think to get a rise out of me? Fine, I have given you an opportunity to speak with me. The next time I see you, it will be in the throne room, surrounded by witnesses. I hope you are prepared to be judged then. I stifle a sigh of relief as I turn on my heels and walk away. Jurian and Garland are waiting for me by the entrance. Are you alright, Your Majesty? Garland looks me over. Were you able to get anything out of him? Unfortunately, no. The knights exchange a look. Do you want us to try again before he's brought to confess? I am doubtful he will say anything helpful. It is hard to concentrate when I am still thinking about our conversation, about Waltz. I glance up, noticing Waltz is not there. Oh, where's Waltz? Right? He said he was going to wait for you in your room. It is unlike Waltz to leave me alone. Did he hear? Maybe? Would you like us to escort you back, Your Majesty? I shake my head. There's no need. But please, send by a report of the damage and casualties when it is available. Has there been any word about the state of the marketplace? We received the report while we were waiting for you. Many stalls and goods were lost in the fire. Oh. Then I must think of a way to compensate the merchants for their loss. Garland coughs. Oh, what? If you don't mind a piece of advice, Your Majesty. What is it? We won't have a full report until tomorrow. I'd recommend you rest for the night, and we can discuss losses and compensation tomorrow. I nod. I think that would be best. I will notify the advisors of my progress here, then return to my room for the night. I am eager to speak to Waltz about all of this. Yeah. Then let us escort you as far as the throne room at least. We're on our way there anyway. Okay, thank you both. Okay, Waltz, come on, talk to me. Talk to me. There's gonna be no judgment here. Like, this is all in the past. Come on. I spend the next hour doing what I can to ensure support is sent into town. After receiving multiple reports that things are stable and no other accomplices have been found, I return to my room. Just as Jurian and Garland said, Waltz is waiting for me. He sits by the window, holding a familiar doll in his hands. Oh. Is it the one he gave me? Yes. I recognize it as the doll he bought me 2 years ago. Yes. He looks up when I enter. Hey, hello, little star. Hey. His smile is strange and undeniably sad. It breaks my heart. Hey, hello, Waltz. Yeah. I glance at the doll. Feeling nostalgic? I was just thinking about how much you've always loved your dolls. He runs a finger over the doll's fragile porcelain cheek. I always felt oddly comforted when I looked at your dolls as a kid. Your room felt like a sanctuary to me back then. It still does. I moved to sit next to Waltz. It is not just my room anymore, you know. It is our room. Right. Waltz sets the doll down on the table with a sigh. So, how did the interrogation go? Well, he says the words slowly, tentatively. I was not able to extract a reason from him, but he nonetheless had a lot to say about something else. Right. Waltz just looks at me quietly, expectantly. He has a lot to say about you. Yeah. Waltz's expression shudders. Me? Waltz, do you trust me? Right? What kind of question is that? Of course I do. So you would tell me the truth about anything? Well, I knew it was only a matter of time until this came up in one of the interrogation. This witch, he called you a murderer, Waltz. Yeah, did you truly have to do that for Mother? Sitting with his shoulders slouched, his gaze trained downward, Waltz looks like a mere shadow of himself. The sight breaks my heart. I did. Waltz, well, I'm sorry, little star. I did a lot of terrible things in my past, things I can't take back, things I would do anything to take back. Waltz looks away. I know it seems like I've been keeping things from you, but I don't do it to keep secrets from you. I just have never wanted to speak about the past. Understandable. My whole life, I've been trying to make up for the wrongs I committed. My parents' deaths, the humans I had to hurt for Hildire. I don't think there's anything I could ever do to make up for it. I slide closer to him and place my hand over his. The reason you were so adamant about me not accompanying you to these interrogations was because you feared a corrupted witch would say something in my presence, wasn't it? I meant what I said about me not wanting you to overwork yourself, but yes, that was a part of it too. Waltz, how long has this guilt been gnawing at you? Pretty much, yeah, my whole life, yeah. It wasn't so bad when I lived at the Marchen. There, I could sometimes forget about everything that happened, but here in this place, interrogating the witches, it comes back. He looks up at me, gaze somber. I'm sorry. For what? Waltz, I have told you 100 times that my mother is the one who forced you to do those things. Right? That doesn't change the fact that people have been hurt because of me, that they've lost loved ones because of me. King Gennaro ought to have punished me for what I did. I can still remember what Father said to Waltz when he saw us together in my room all those years ago. No, Waltz, my father was grateful to you. It was because of you my mother could be defeated in the first place. As for the guilt you feel, I shake my head. I know what that is like, to feel crushed by grief. I still remember the guilt that crashed down on me when I found out I was the Tenebrarium bearer. I remember the helplessness I felt when my father died before my eyes. Yeah, no one can absolve you of that guilt except for you, Waltz. Yeah, we get it. It's all in the past. Also, I don't think we've been particularly a stellar person either. And it's all because of the things that we thought we believed in, but we were just actually, lied to. Hana, it's true you cannot make up for the wrongs of the past. A right doesn't resolve a wrong. But Waltz, you saved this kingdom twice. You were under no orders then. No life can ever be weighed against any other, but you have saved so many people, Waltz. I laced my fingers through his and gently squeezed his hand. You saved me, yeah. Waltz's hold on my hand tightens. It feels almost desperate, as if he is clinging to me. You saved me, Hana. You put a smile on my face when it felt like the world was crashing down on me. Around you, I could be at peace. I could be myself. He shakes his head. I know it's no excuse, but that's why all this time I didn't want to divulge anything about my past. I always talk about facing the present together, about not lingering in the past. And yet, the moment I start remembering everything, I lose myself. I can no longer think about the present or the future. All I can think about is how much I feel like I don't deserve any of this happiness. Oh, you don't have to remember it if it's too hard for you, Waltz. I raise his hands to my lips and kiss his knuckles. But please, I do not want you to feel like you need to hide things from me because you are scared of how I would react. Right? I'm more understanding than you think. Come on now. Waltz swallows. For a few moments, he does not speak, just sits there holding my hand tightly, and then he speaks, his voice feather soft. How did I get so lucky to have you in my life, little star? Fate is cruel, but it brought us together, and for that I am forever grateful. Right? There's a silver lining in the clouds. You already know I was your mother's right hand. Myth was her left. The two of us did everything she ordered. We dealt with rebels and helped her stop uprisings. Much of it led to bloodshed. I did all that while still sneaking into your room at night. I was a criminal, but around you I felt like maybe I could be a hero. I remember when you first taught me how to sew. Your puppets put such a smile on my face, and when I used to perform magic for you and you would clap for me, Walt smiled softly. You inspired me. I did everything I could to make things right, even when I lost you, even when you no longer remembered me, I carried your light with me. I performed for the children in town. I did magic tricks and hosted puppet shows for them. I felt like maybe I could finally do something good. But whenever you call me good, he sighs. I still feel like I'm not worthy of being called that. No, disagree. Reason with him. I wanna... Can I reason with him? Like, I gotta show you. I gotta... Here are the reasons and why I think, you're worthy. You deserve to be called good. It's not... You're not the you that you used to be. Basically, I can't judge you, and people shouldn't judge you for your actions of the past if you are making efforts to better yourself, I'm going to reason with him. I shake my head. Do you know what I learned 2 years ago, Waltz? I learned that the line between good and bad is thin and murky. Parfait once told me that there was no balance without darkness, just as the tenebrarium and lucis are two halves of one whole. We all too are made of darkness and light. But we are all capable of incredible things. Incredible good. You taught me that. Oh. When I say you are good, I acknowledge even your faults, Waltz. Right? I love you, Waltz, exactly as you are. Waltz leans over to plant a kiss on my cheek. I shift slightly so that I can catch his lips with my own instead. Waltz's eyes are sparkling when he pulls away. I love you too, Hana. Thank you for accepting me just as I am. Always, Waltz. Yeah, please, never feel like you must keep me in the dark, understood? Waltz smiles softly, still with uncertainty in his eyes. Crystal clear, little star. The words are still so fragile. It's okay, it'll take time. I stand abruptly. Before Waltz can move, I reach over and pull him to my chest. Hey, Cuddles, here. Give me a hug. I give you hug. When next you feel like this, please come to me. You have seen me at my lowest, and time again, you have been there for me. I want to be there for you always. I run my hands gently through his hair. You promised you would always be at my side. I echoed your promise long ago. Please depend on me. Waltz inhales shakily. For a few moments, there's quiet stillness. And then his arms circle my waist. He leans into me and whispers softly, "Thank you, Hana." Yeah, you got me and I got you. That's what a relationship is. I pull away from him just far enough to look him in the eyes. Feel better? I do. He laughs a little sheepishly. I'm sorry you had to interrogate me in the end. I nudge him gently in the shoulder. You're excused this time, but only if you agree to be honest with me in the future. Yes, ma'am. You have to promise me. Waltz flexes his fingers. He closes his palms, then opens it before my eyes. A lily pushes up between his fingers. He hands it to me. I promise, Anna. I take the flower from him and twirl it between my fingers. Why the lily? A chevalier told me once that they stand for devotion, and a promise isn't a promise without devotion. Aww. When I lean forward to kiss his cheek, Waltz playfully pulls away. I tumble onto his lap with a laugh, and he pulls me close, tilting my head up so that he can plant a kiss on my lips. Afterward, I reach out to cuff his cheek. I promise too, Waltz. In my periphery vision, I see something glimmer across the sky. I do not know if it is a shooting star, but still, I make another wish. I wish for Waltz's happiness. I hope he can learn to let me carry his burdens just as he carries mine. Draped in starlight, Waltz and I share another kiss. Oh, they're so sweet. We're so sweet. Okay, is that? I'm sure that's not it. I'm honest. Yay. Okay, well that's the end of that chapter. So chapter 4, Neverland. Okay, so obviously, as you guys know already, this is where we're gonna stop here for this episode. We've, I guess, kind of quickly and swiftly taken care of some of the rough patches, like, you know, the insecurities in our relationship. I hope that settles that, because really it's like it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So the bigger deal, I guess the bigger problem here in this story, I would assume, would just be the whole, like, the witches and their the corrupted witches and their vandalism and their, like, wanting to oppose me because I am not their queen, not my queen. God damn it. But anyways, yeah. So I'm just only assuming that we're gonna delve more into that in the routes, and then perhaps it would come into like a huge climax in terms of that. So yeah. Okay, so that's all. Thank you guys so much for your patience once again. I hope you guys are enjoying this Let's Play, since we only really did kind of just get right into it. So yeah, stick around, find out more from this story, and of course we gotta check out the other characters as well too. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. I only say that because for those of you who don't know, I am still on a semi hiatus because my uploading schedules and my recording times are really random, so I don't know. I can't really predict when's the next time I'm going to upload for you, because I just take the opportunities as I come. So that's the best way to know when I upload something, is if you subscribe or if you hit the notification bell. Yeah, but otherwise, thank you so much once again, and I hope to see you in another Let's Play. But for now, bye!